It marked the beginning of the excavation, which has involved large numbers of archaeologists and research teams, and there's no end in sight. The discovery found its way into the history books as the archaeological sensation of the 20th century. The complex has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987. In the 2,200 years they spent underground before being found, the terracotta figures have had to endure quite a lot. Shortly after they were completed, thieves and rebels overran the burial complex, looted some of the weapons, and set most of the pits alight. As a result, the charred wooden beams collapsed onto the figures, knocking them over and shattering them. Over the centuries, landslides and water seepage caused further damage to the battered figures. So it's hardly surprising that as yet, not a single figure has been found intact. Some are broken into more than 200 pieces. Since 1975, archaeologists and restorers have been working to put the figures back together, piece by piece, like a vast three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. That throws up a lot of tricky problems. The terracotta figures are very delicate, so as soon as one has been successfully unearthed, it needs to be conserved as quickly as possible. And that isn't easy, although restoration and conservation methods have improved over recent years. However, it still hasn't been possible to preserve the coloured lacquer finish intact. These days, finds are only removed from the soil if the teams can be certain of being able to conserve the objects permanently. That's why the rate of excavation has slowed considerably since 1989. In many ways, the first Chinese emperor's Terracotta Army is unique. It's also the most significant archaeological discovery of the 20th century and is sometimes dubbed the eighth wonder of the world. Since they were found in 1974, the clay warriors have met with an enthusiastic response from experts in many different fields. The Army is of the greatest importance for archaeologists, art and cultural historians, and restorers, while also contributing a great deal to our knowledge of historical weapons and military strategy. Depending on their role, the warriors wore different dress and carried different weapons. Right at the front were the archers and crossbowmen, either kneeling or standing. They either wore armour, like the kneeling figures you see here, or were dressed in thickly wadded tunics, like the standing bowmen. That ensured more freedom of movement during firing. Strategically, the bowmen would proceed as follows. As soon as they fired their arrows, those in the front row would kneel down to leave the field of fire open for the rows behind them. Behind the bowmen, the infantry stood waiting, armed with lances and spears. They were followed by the chariots, whose job it was to break through the enemy lines and scatter their units. Since the chariots were all made of wood, they disintegrated over time and have not survived. Originally, there would have been heavy infantry behind the chariots. Their task was to engage in hand-to-hand combat with the enemy and reap destruction. So they wore thick scale armour and were additionally equipped with swords, lances, and dagger axes. Higher-ranking officers and generals stood with their units. The various ranks can be clearly distinguished by the type of dress, headgear, hairstyles, and facial hair. Generals were additionally identified by coloured ribbons on their armour. This meant soldiers could easily recognise their commander even in the heat of battle and respond effectively to any signals. The figures are worked in great detail. Since we can assume that the artisans based them on the actual appearance of imperial soldiers, the Terracotta Army provides a unique opportunity to study the dress and elaborate hairstyles from the time of the first emperor. Even the faces of the figures are one of a kind, so each figure is individually designed and seems to be based on an original model that lived 2,200 years ago. The warriors and horses you see here are exact replicas of the original Terracotta Warriors from 220 BC. The Chinese originals are only allowed to leave the country in exceptional circumstances and with the very highest security in place. The replicas were made in Xi'an, barely a kilometre or less than a mile from the first emperor's tomb complex, by carefully chosen artisans using ancient tools and techniques that have been accurately handed down. In all, 25 tons of terracotta went into making them. The basic material, clay, came from the same clay pits that supplied the material for the original Terracotta Army, more than 2,200 years ago.